Hello, my lovelies. We're back again, and this time it's 7/11 through 7/17, 2022. All right. And I think what we'll do is just a little installation on the palm again. Now, last time we talked a little bit about lines and stuff. So this time, just going to give you basic shapes, fingers, etc., and comments about what you can look for. All right. Now, I kind of saved this little boo-boo. Sometimes people say, oh, no, I boo-booed my hand. I was doing gardening and I made a blister and blah, blah, blah. For a palmist to read, they have to have all of the information. And if there is suddenly a little boo-boo that's on your hand that appeared on the day they're looking, is the day it was meant to be there. Okay, so don't poo-poo it and say, oh, it's nothing. It is. It wouldn't be there if it was nothing, all right? And I don't know if you can see. Yeah, there it is. There's a little dark fleck there. Can you see where it is in between my little finger and my ring finger? Yeah. This is kind of in the base of the girdle of Venus, which runs from here to here. And it's a strike. It's a blow. It's a boo-boo. It's an owie. It's a splinter. And it came from a rose. And all of that's symbolic of what this can possibly mean. And it has to do with a blow to my belief system in romance. And it was from early in my childhood. And it was from something I overheard, because it's right by that finger of communication. So that's just an instance of how you can read scars, blisters, anything that you might have on your palm. That's going to give you an interpretation of what's going on. So this is the girdle of Venus. There it is right there, right? So that was one of the things we talked about briefly last time. And there's my little boo-boo. So now I can scratch off. I can scratch off my little rose thorn right there, okay? Now, typically we'll start by looking at the shape of the hand. And I've got my fingers pushed together on purpose because I want you to see how the fingers look in relationship to the palm, right? And it keeps wanting to stick outward. What I see in my palm is that it's almost identical. This distance from here to here is almost the same as it is from there. And that implies that this is a palm of someone who tries to keep a balance in their life. Well, I'm a Libra, and then Libras are all about balance anyway, so that makes perfect sense. But the shape of it will imply that. You may find that you have a palm that is larger than the fingers are long, and that is usually a more practical hand. This one doesn't always have to be practical, but if you have stronger palms that can take more weight or more stress or whatever, and it's more predictable. Sometimes people born under earth signs have a squarer and bigger palm because they're quite practical. And that would be Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, right? So we're just looking at that. So there's the palm shape. And this one is narrow as opposed to wide. It's a little wider in through here, but that is the shape of the palm there. And that indicates with this that there's an accent on spirituality. Well, ever since I've been little, it's been important for me. I'm always wanting to know why. What's the purpose behind that? So, even in Sunday school, it's like, why? How come? Right? So just know that the shape of this palm is another indicator of what's going on. Now, at the bottom of the palm, you can see looks like a big bump right there. If I put my finger on it, I can feel the bone right there. And that's what I call the psychic bump. The bigger, the stronger it is, the more tendency you have for psychic ability. All right? Some people have it way over here and it's tucked up way inside, which means it's kind of a secret and they don't like to share it. It is there, but it won't be predominant where everyone can see it. All right? Shape of the thumb. Now, the thumb kind of indicates to me about power, right? Now, I was trying to hold my hand, kept bouncing out, push it back there, bouncing out. I happen to feel like I have a lot of my own personal power. I'm used to being in charge of my own circumstances. Okay, so does that mean power over anybody? Usually means just yourself. Okay, so boing, when it pops out like that, it wants to be acknowledged or used. Okay, if this finger were bending way over, and that's about as far as I can get it to bend, but if it were bending way over, it's something that they used to call the murderer's thumb. And it doesn't necessarily mean that if you have a thumb that bends way back, you have a propensity to murder. It just means that maybe you have a short fuse. Maybe it's like, tell me, you got one chance to tell me the truth and make it snappy jack, all right? Right? So that's what your thumb is about. Now, some people have different interpretations, but what I do is make my interpretation specific to my reading, and I find that what I notice is usually what I notice is what I need to acknowledge, right? This is the finger of leadership. This is a finger that speaks of career. This is the finger that everybody identifies with relationships. And this last little finger is the finger that we use for communication, right? So this finger, I have two different sets, right? So on my left hand, my leadership finger pulls away from my career, which means I don't mind being a solitary person. I can work by myself for myself. Over here, the fingers came together, and this is what I came into this world with. This is what I've developed, okay? So what this is telling me is I came in as a team player, that I was looking for a partnership. I was looking for somebody that I could work with for my successes. Okay, over here, not so much. Just in relaxing my hand, these fingers want to slam together and these fingers want to pull apart. So that's an indication. So I've made major life changes between what I came in with and what I'm doing with it now, right? So just have a look at that. Now, can you see how that finger is like way, way out to the side? That's my finger of communication. Okay, and so when it pulls way over like that, it means to me, not only do I have the desire to communicate, I have the need to communicate. So this is a big gap in here saying, I probably will want to get the last word in, okay? My mom probably could have attested to that by saying it's like she could be scolding me and I'd walk away and go, but I don't think so. So I would have the last word even if she didn't hear it, right? Over here, the gap is there too, but it's not quite as big as it is over here. So as I got more and more in control of my own life, I didn't need to communicate it so much to everybody else or to have everybody else believe what I believed, okay? So some of that has to do just with simple process of maturation, right? So once again, our fingers are starting to reveal what's going on with us, right? This is it. This is interesting right here because this is my relationship finger and it kind of has a gap over here too. When I was little, I never thought about getting married. I didn't think it was necessary. So there's the gap right there. Over here, it works in tandem. It's parallel to the other finger, but this is more about partnerships in business for me that turn out to be friendships. And so I find that something that's easy for me to do, that I can be in business with people that may end up being my best friend anyway. Okay, so lots going on just by the hand, shape of the fingers. And another thing is, if we are looking at the shape of the fingers, we're going to look at the fingertips and see what's happening. Okay, now on my thumb, it's not blunt, it's rather pointed and rounded. Over here, this little finger over here is too also pointed. This one's flattened out a little bit more. And this one is definitely flattened on one side and open on the other, which means probably a variability in my relationships. Yeah. So not meaning you get bored all the time, but you do like variety, okay? And then over here, this is such a nice, delicate little finger that comes to a nice tip. Now, let's start with this one and work backwards a little bit. This having the nice tip on the end of it means that when I communicate, it's also bent. Can you see that it's bent? When I communicate, I'm going to use my words to work in and out of a situation. So I'll want to clarify, I want more specific information about things, and I'll be probably quite pointed and direct. Now, this finger is shorter than that finger by quite a bit. Boop. See, they both kind of are, which means I will explain. If your finger's a little bit shorter, I will explain and be precise, but I'm not going to keep talking over and over and over. If this finger was longer and measured farther up on the ring finger, it means that I would keep going back to the same story and repeating it and explaining and re-explaining, but I don't do that. So if your finger is falling off to the side and there's a big difference between the length of these two fingers, it means listen closely, because soon the recitation will be over and you'll be on your own. Okay? Here's the finger that fits everybody's ring, right? And there used to be an ancient belief that there was a direct line between this finger and the heart. And that's why they would dress it with a ring when people married or became engaged or whatever, okay? So that is the finger about relationships, but maybe love relationships or close friendships, right? And then that finger is about career, right? Now, mine is a little bit longer than this, which indicates that maybe I don't mind working by myself, right? I have a tendency to be a little bit solitary. So when your fingers are closer together in length, it means that you may need more of a team around you in order to succeed in your career. This finger is the finger of leadership. We talk a little bit about that. And what I'm seeing is there's quite a difference between the tip of this finger and the tip of that finger. Is it very similar over here? Mm-hmm. Yeah, very similar. And what is that? That's the leadership finger. And it's telling me when it's shortened like that, it is about, I don't mind playing on the team, but I want to be the captain. Okay? So if this finger is considerably shorter than that one, you want to be in charge. Okay? It has to do with leadership. So just know that. If it's a little bit closer to the same length, you might be a little more mutable. It's a little bit easier to get along with you, and you don't have to be in charge or right all the time. Okay? So we can take them to the extremes, or we can leave them. Oh, thank you. Or we can leave them with moderation. So the shape of your hands and your fingers have a lot to say. Remember I was talking about this as it looks like a wider and flatter tip to one side. Sometimes they even have a twist to them, which indicates a proclivity toward one thing or another. These are the tools that you have that you were born with or you've developed, right? So know that each one of these is a separate tool for a different technique. Usually we have different fingertips. They're not all the same. And that just means if this doesn't work, if me being in charge and saying you got to do it this way doesn't work, maybe it is try a different leadership style, or maybe it is you're in the wrong profession, or maybe, all right? So all of these things are telling us that the fingertip is an indication of the tools that you have in your arsenal for success and happy life. Okay? So hopefully that made some sense to you, and it's always interesting to see what's going on. Know that your hands will change over time. It's not quite as easy to read frequency on palms. We can find time markers, but usually takes a little bit of time between readings in order for things to happen and make your hands change. Tarot cards, they can be from month to month. Okay? Alrighty, kiddos. Well, that's what I have to share with you guys in palms. Okay? Let me just lay down a couple of cards. I shuffled these a minute ago. And we'll just figure out, we're going to take the weekend off. And on Monday, we have the Woman of Wands. And it means I really would suggest that you trust your intuitions. This is the sensing, feeling, knowing personality. So it's kind of like All these are like highlights. It's like inspiration or intuition flashes of it. You're going to have little bits like that during Monday. Pay attention to them because they're going to be pretty accurate. And if you have no inspiration this Monday, there's going to be a female around you that does. So listen carefully because I think she's got a lot to share. Tuesday is about bringing in change, and this could be financial changes that are coming on Tuesday too. So that's every bit interesting to be looking at this time. All right. Eights are always about change. And we've got another 8 that's here too. 8 of Worlds is about physical changes. And it's one thing leading to the other. And the 8 of Wands is about finding a new direction to pursue. All right. So just know that you're being encouraged at this time. And what do we have? Oops, I forgot to lay down the last one. And then we have Thursday is the 2 of Cups. This is good for partnerships. So maybe you have ideas of what direction you want to go, and somebody comes in and say, I've done that before, or I know people that can help you with this. And so you pay attention by acknowledging their wealth of information. And what happens is it opens and expands your world. Because here you go, off on a new adventure. And you're being inspired to do that this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. All right, so it looks really good. The outcome card is a major arcana card, and this opens your world for you. Right? Have a care because it looks to me like you have some Buddhist influence here. So that's about work a little on your meditations and know that life is meant to be enjoyed. So there's a lot of things that are discouraging us. Thank you. And this card says, you're in the driver's seat. You get to decide if it's going to be joyful for you. You're the one who picks it. All righty, kiddos. That's what we have for the week. And I hope you enjoyed the little tutoring on your palmistry. So I will talk to you soon. Take good care. Love and kisses.